Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to talk a bit of NRL draft. I almost said NFL draft. So I guess played NRL SuperCoach for a number of years now. Been playing NFL draft for a few years, but I guess put the two together, I haven't really done a lot in NRL draft. So I thought we'd have a look at this video just to introduce the concept of draft to those that are not as familiar with it. I have had a little bit of a look around, but I guess ultimately then look at pumping up the draft league that we're going to put together for the channel. So to access draft, you probably come from the classic space. Just click on draft. It'll probably get you to sign up, and then it gives you the option of joining a league, or you can select a mock draft. So I've already jumped into the mock draft section just to have a bit of a look at what was available, and I guess the great thing about it is there is a range of options. So you can sort of see the time that I'm recording this video. There is a number of options. So whether you go for 12 teams, 14 teams, whatever it may be, you can have as few as 6 or even 4, and you can see the format of the team structure varies. So there's sort of like part teams, there's like deeper benches, there's a whole gambit of options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into 10-team league, because that's what we're going to potentially look at. Actually, I might do an 8-team league just so it's a bit quicker. It shouldn't really matter because it's on auto draft. So actually, I might do the 10-team league. Why not? So I'm going to jump in this 10-team league. Yep, that's fine. And so it'll randomly assign you a spot. So you can see it's given me the 6th spot, which is always pretty interesting in a snake draft. You don't get the sort of first pick of the bunch, and then also I guess on the alternate side you don't get the 2 picks close together around the backswing. So while you might get the 9th or 10th pick, you also get the 11th or the 12th pick. So you get that advantage in the sort of even numbered rounds around which player you pick. So 6 is a bit of an awkward one, because I'll be picking sort of every 10 players essentially. So I'll get pick 6, then pick 15, then pick 26, and so on. But that's okay. We can talk about a strategy from this spot and maybe the other ones as well. So the draft itself will kick off in 10 seconds, but essentially it gives you a few minutes to sort of prepare for the draft if you haven't already done so. Hopefully for your main drafts you are a bit more prepared. There you go, it's just going to go over to the live now. So you can see the first bot is going to pick in about 3 minutes, which gives us a bit of an opportunity to talk about the sort of targets. So you'll see by default it's ordered based on season average. So Nico Hines at the top with his 95 average, and then Cleary, Ponga, Drinkwater, and so on down the list. Right, and you can see it's sorted by the average last year. One thing you can look at if you want to see trends in player picks is you can look at the previous mock draft average draft position. So if we just organise it by that, won't let me do it now. No good. I should have got in there before the draft started. Maybe I was a bit slack. But as you can see, the top 4 are the same, and then Fafita jumps above Tommy Turbo. So perhaps a few people not too keen on his injury history. But yeah, you can see like the likes of Clint Gutherson are sliding down the overall. So even though they're highly averaged, one of the strategies that you can look at is this idea of positional advantage. So I guess to sort of use an NFL analogy, it's always the quarterbacks who on average score the highest, but you can only have one quarterback in your team. So there's no point trying to pick up Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, because you're going to end up with players on your bench not playing, but you're also going to have lesser picks in those other positions. So, say you really want Kalen Ponga and he goes because he's, the third most popular player after Hines and Cleary. You might say, well, I can get a Tommy Turbo, or I could wait, get David Fafita now before he goes off the board. And, by the time you come around, you've still got the likes of Jerome, oh no, Jerome Hughes is a halfback, sorry, not fullback. But, Tedesco, Dylan Edwards would still be on the board based on their averages. So, would you rather Fafita and Tedesco, or would you rather, loading up on like Tommy Turbo and then, for your second rower, you're going fairly deep. Maybe Jermaine Hopgood, if he's available, would be nice. But obviously, then, you've got your other positions to fill as well. So that's one sort of thing to consider when you're looking at the draft is obviously you want to get the best picks, but you do also want to try and find a bit of value, not like in SuperCoach where you want bottom dollar cheapies that will rise in price, but guys that like the 50th best player who ends up in the top 20 overall for average. So these first few picks will go really quick. And we'll just have a quick look over here on the left. We've got a minute, so not too much time, but Hines, Cleary, Ponga, Drinkwater, Tommy Turbo. So generally, the Autobots just take whoever's in the order. So in this position, I can go Dave Fafita. I probably wouldn't worry about Reece Walsh or Gutherson just because I can get a fullback a bit later. But what I'm thinking is I will take Fafita. And hopefully we get back around to have a crack at either Haas or Harry Grant. So I'm going to pick Dave Fafita as a potential captaincy option. So your first pick should always be, the player that you're most likely to captain. Obviously we'd all love to have Cleary and Hines, but we don't always get that opportunity. So basically I've got three great options here now with Dylan Brown, Payne Haas, Harry Grant. So, can take any of these guys. And I guess, it could depend. Like, I know for our draft, we're going to skip the big buy rounds. So that sort of, adds a little bit extra onto Payne Haas and Harry Grant. And so I just think, based on the fact I could get probably another 5/8, like, maybe not Munster, but Cody Walker perhaps could come back, or even someone like a Matt Burton, I'd be happy with. I'm going to take Harry Grant, best hooker in the game. And now I've got two really good captaincy options, which is really nice. So we'll just let the picks do their thing. So you can see the players coming off the board here. It is really tricky when you're the only one in here. Like obviously, if you're doing a draft with other people, you get a bit more time to think about it. But you can see we've got Tedesco and Dylan Edwards still on the board. But just having a look through, I think we've still got Ryan Pappenhausen's hiding, and with the auto bots, I'm going to take advantage of that. So I know the bots aren't going to pick Pappenhausen. So what I'm going to look at, not really too sure actually, but I might go Nikora. So I've already got a second row, but get on Nikora. I do like him as a pick, so I'll lock him into my team. Do a few more picks. We'll see what we're up to. So I was just looking at Mitchell Moses. So I guess this is the stage where we can get Moses, or if we look at the halfbacks, it goes into Reynolds, and we start to get into slightly uncomfortable territory. So I'm absolutely going to take Moses as my halfback. And then we'll go through a few more picks. So I'll probably get another 10 down the list. I don't think I'll quite get Damien Cook, but that's fine. I've already got Harry Grant, so some people might want to grab Damien Cook for a bit of insurance on the bench, but again, we want to start filling in these these other spots. So particularly centre wing. Well, actually, I just saw Ryan Pappenhausen's going to go off the board in the next round, so I'm taking him. So I've got 3/4 of my spine, which is pretty nice. And going to be chasing a bit of value at centre wing by the looks of it. So, just having a quick look through the list again, the sort of next 10. Um, so, this is one where I think if I do the numbers, he could get back to me. But if I was against actual sort of players, I'd probably look at Bradman Best, start filling out my centre wing. So going around. What do we got left? So again, just looking at sort of the options that are going to come off the board soon. I do like Jacob Carraz, so let's get another centre wing in. So far we've got a fullback, two centre wings, halfback, two second rowers, and a hooker. So we might have to start looking for a 5/8, I think. So is there any that sort of pop up here? So Cody Nicarima, Tommy Dearden, perhaps. The Cowboys do have a good start to the season. Or we've got Matt Burton, if I want to back my boy in. And because he's 12 picks away, we might tempt fate a little bit. See if we can get back to him. So the other options actually aren't that great. So might just lock it in. And particularly with his dual position, he can be a pretty handy sort of pickup for any draft team having that dual position flexibility. So Dream Buller, you can see is a bit lower as well. So if you do look for a fullback a bit later, you can get someone like a Dream Buller who's quite serviceable in that position. And then obviously, you're trying to get a positional advantage in these other positions. All right, so where are we at? Not a lot of interesting options on the table. So sometimes, you just look at the best available. I reckon we might load up Jack DeBellin in the front row. Solid but not spectacular. But again, we skipped on Payne Haas to get Harry Grant, for example. So, we can't be too upset with having Jack DeBellin in our front row. All right, back to us. So Hudson Young, very solid. Tyson Frizzell, so very similar sort of categories of players. You've got your Blake Brayley. So, I mean, if you can't get Grant, someone like a Brayley in round, in round 10, I think that's pretty good value. But I do want to see if there's any value centre wingers. Not really. Which one? Might just go Hudson Young. Doesn't really matter. This is a mock draft. I guess you can use these for testing different strategies. Like I know some people like to sort of go around below and try to pick the best from that sub sort of tier. But I guess just given that the mock drafts pretty much just follow the averages. If they're all Autobots, you can just go in and sort of have a look. So like a Reece Robson comes up in round 11, I think that's pretty good value. What do we need? We need second rower. No, sorry, a front rower, wing centre. So I mean, this could be a good opportunity where there's plenty of options deeper down that we rate the same. So we could get Reece Robson as a backup hooker, and we could even look at using him to trade. Because if someone's got a terrible hooker, we'll try and have a look at the other teams when they're finished, see if we can find someone we could potentially trade in Robson for. So who do we go here? So maybe a Luke Keary as a halves cover. Yeah. So Reed Marnie. So plenty of value at hooker, I think, based on what I'm seeing here. But what we might do is just jump in and get Maxi King in our front row. The main man there at the Dogs. Could have got Ruben Cotter, but I think he'll come back to us. So we'll put Max King in the front row if it ever wants to work. Any fear of working? Probably auto draft me Luke Brooks, and I'll be pretty filthy on that. There we go, got it. So we've got Max King, and like I said, we're hoping that Ruben Cotter falls to us, and it looks like he will. Nice, so we'll get Ruben Cotter in. It doesn't really matter. He's going on the bench either way. Um, Alright, so we still probably need some centre wings. So we've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I mean, they've got him at about a 53 average. Let's just bring him in for good times, the old times, whatever times they are. So we'll still need another centre wing. Maybe Jack Whiten if we can get a hold of him. And it looks like he will. So we'll take Jack Whiten. And then what are we left with? A couple of bench spots. And so I guess when we get to this stage where we're looking to cover our bench, you know, we've got a hooker, we've got forward, so we probably want like a halves option. And having Matt Burton makes it, you know, nice and easy. What we can do is, you know, jump on someone like a Jaden Campbell. Yeah, it doesn't matter where we draft him, he's going on the bench. So we've got cover at halfback through Burton, 5/8, and fullback. And I need to clear the filter. So, you know, we'll probably just look for a centre winger to finish it off. Um, yeah, I mean, Dylan Lucas again provides that flexibility. If he does get the start in the second row, he'll be a gun pick anyway. If it ever lets me pick him. Oh, the whole thing's frozen. Brilliant. Oops. So I probably will auto draft for me, I'd imagine. Oh no, still give me time. How good. So we'll bring Dylan Lucas just to round out our team. And there we go. So if we have a look at the other team, so like we go to bot one, and so we can see here straight away they've got 4 centres on their bench. So you know what we could probably do is give them Reece Robson for, you know, say any of these guys. Maybe could even go as high as Val Holmes. You know, might have to settle for a Zach Lomax or a Dan Gagai. But you know, because we've you know jumped in a bit earlier on that player, you know they've ended up with say a Lachlan Croker as their hooker, even though you know Nico Hines as the halfback. You know, even like their fullback's not fantastic. So you could even offer up Jaden Campbell, you know, for something. There's not really much there to be honest. Bot two who had Cleary, you know, they got Munster, which is nice. Hayes Perham as fullback is pretty gross. Had Fanua Blake, so you know, a couple of nice picks there. But again, the bots just purely go off averages. It's probably not worth analysing their picks. But you know, if we have a look at our picks, you know, we've got the captaincy options in Grant and Fafita. You know, managed to pick up Pappenhausen a bit later. I don't predict that to be the case in actual drafts. Um, but you know, Moses and Burton, as far as halfbacks go, aren't the worst. So having those is nice. Nikora, you know, like really nice sort of second row options. Um, Front row, if you don't get Haas or Big Tino or Fanua Blake, I don't think it really matters. So if we have a look at front row forwards by average, but we already know this, like you've got those 3 above 70, and then it sharply drops off. Like DeBellin is the 6th highest averaging front rower at 57. So I think if you don't get one of those guys, you can grab anyone you want. So, you know, if you don't get one of them early, and as you can see, they went top 20, you know, you can sit and wait until pretty much you fill out the rest of your squad, I reckon, in some cases. But like I said, those guys are probably in around the top 10. So Max King probably just outside the top 10 on average from last year, but he could easily float up. So, you know, that's why we pick those guys. And, you know, getting some value like Robson and Cotter on the bench, we know what they're capable of. some utility with Lucas and Campbell. So I guess that's the sort of stuff we're looking for in these sorts of drafts. But as I said, we do have a draft coming up, so you get a brief look at the code there. So I guess just to go through the rules and that for it. So there's going to be 10 teams in the league. Basically, we've gone with the starting 13 plus 6 on the bench, so a little bit of extra cover on the bench. And also this year, something new to NRL Draft is the additional flex player. So I guess, this can change strategies about, if you've already picked a Cleary or a Hines, what's to say that you don't also get a Cherry Evans or something to back them up, and you can play them in that flex position every week. So it's like a utility slot essentially. So you can use that somewhat tactically, I think. So what we'll end up with is a squad of 20 players. So, 10 teams. It's going to be about 200 players come off the board, which is roughly around the amount that'll be playing every week anyway. So, um, there should be enough opportunities for everyone to get, some guns, and then also, look for some real value options, um, and then opportunities to trade and stuff throughout the season. So it's going to kick off in round 2. So we're going to have a look at the players in round 1 as well to help us. We're not going to play buys. So with 10 teams, that gets us to round 23 for the finals. And it's just going to be top 5. So I guess, like the old format, 2 plays 3, 4 plays 5, and, go on your way like that through the finals. Yeah, so that doesn't count for ours. So the draft's going to be on the Monday after round 1. So the 11th of the 3rd. It says 5 o'clock. That should be 6 o'clock. So maybe, what if I set it to 7 o'clock? I don't know, because it's supposed to be 6 o'clock in Queensland, 7 o'clock New South Wales. So we'll have to confirm that closer to the date. But yeah, that's when it's going to be. So hopefully everyone can be available for the draft. I'm thinking about having a go at live streaming it on the channel. So it'd be cool to see everyone get in amongst that. The draft type, so it'll be a live draft, snake draft. So just keeping it simple. And we'll try to go 30 seconds per pick. Actually, we might make it 60 seconds, I guess. If it takes too long, we can always fasten it, I think. Or make it go quicker. I know you can with NFL. You just pause the draft and make the changes, but we'll try to make it 60 seconds. Yeah, so I think all that's pretty standard. Yeah, so save and update the settings. That's done. Fantastic. So, those are the settings. To join in the league, when I get the code, I'll just put it up there anyway. It should have an option to invite, but I can't see it. But it's 620418, so that's in the draft section. If you put that in classic, someone else's league will come up. I don't know what's going on there. Is it my league? Manage league, there we go. Yep, so prior to 5 p.m. on Monday the 11th, or hopefully we can get that. Oh, so no, it's up the top there. So yeah, so there's the league code. I'll get the link for adding it in to the comment, or sorry, the description of this video, so you can also access it through that link. So if you wanted to get in and have a go at drafts, it'd be great to have some people involved. And yeah, like I said, we'll do a live draft on the channel, so you can see it live. Just give me an opportunity to actually play with a live video. I've never tried that before, so that'd be pretty cool too. And I guess while we're speaking about leagues, due to popular demand, I have created a second classic head-to-head league. So I haven't had a chance to pump this up in a video yet. but SuperCoach Nuffs 2. So I can see a couple of people have already joined in that were interested, but the lead code there, I keep going to invite for some reason, 207325. So if you missed out on the first head-to-head league, feel free to jump into the second one, and we'll get some more people involved. Obviously, if you're involved in the first one, prefer not to have you in the second one as well. Not to say that I don't want you to beat me in both leagues, but just try to give some more people an opportunity to get in there. I know there was someone was suggesting they wanted to get in with a nephew or a family member. So if you do want to jump in this second league with other people, maybe just jump out of the first one and then we can re-advertise that spot. And yeah, so I just wanted to quickly pump that up as well. That'll be in the video description. Yeah, I think that's about it. So that's NFL draft, NRL draft in a nutshell. Um, if you're interested in this stuff, give us a like. We can definitely look a bit more into some deeper strategy than me just randomly picking players as they pop up on the list. We can definitely dive into that. As I said, it's something I haven't looked at too closely, but between this and also we are having a bit of a league with a few mates from work and stuff. We play NFL fantasy, so doing a live NRL draft like in person should be pretty fun as well. Um, and and yeah, so I think that's about it. So as I said, if you're enjoying the draft stuff in particular, give us a like, subscribe for all of the fantasy content. Obviously, any questions or thoughts, feel free to comment below the video. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.